Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest from the various short-range models at the potential for seeing some wintriness later this working week into the weekend. We could be seeing wintry weather mainly over hills and higher ground in northern England, Scotland, but we could even be seeing it to lower levels at times throughout Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We'll look for these models and see what they are showing. We'll also have a look at the longer range forecast towards the end of the video. Have a look at the main models, GFS, GM, ECMWF and the GFS Ensembles. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and do remember to follow on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So we do have a look at the latest from the UK Met Office precipitation and temperature charts. Normally I have a look at this at the end of the video, but the main focus really for this week will be on the temperatures, the frost we're going to be seeing, and the potential for seeing some snow as well. So if we do run through the precipitation, you can see at the moment it is reasonably dry across the UK. A few showers across the north, mainly rain, within sort of thicker cloud, as we do have a wedge of milder air as this initial high pressure does sink. Now, over the course of this evening, we'll see continued showers across the north, becoming more cloudy, but in the south we could see a frost, and we'll have a look at the temperatures in a minute. Could be below freezing across southern parts of Ireland and southern England. Beyond that, for Tuesday, very similar day to today, but with more cloud around, less of the nice, beautiful blue skies we've seen in many areas today, even though it has been really quite chilly. But we see the first signs of weather fronts pushing in across northern Scotland through the early hours of Wednesday. Now, this weather front will initially only be snow over higher ground, meaning it will be rain across low-lying areas, simply because the air mass ahead of the weather front is a couple of degrees too mild. You can see that weather front does slowly push through, and behind it we start to see wintry showers quite widely across Scotland, and again we could be seeing some wintriness to lower levels. Only really settling snow at this stage will be over the higher ground. We could be seeing some growlpool showers, some hail showers, some sleet showers, or even snow showers to low-lying areas, only within sort of the heavier convective showers coming in from the north. Beyond that, through Thursday afternoon, we see continued snow showers across Scotland. Could be seeing a few wintry showers along the east coast and parts down to Wales. Could be seeing the Pembrokeshire Dangler, which is just an area of convergence where the winds collide together, down parts of southwest Wales and southwest England. Beyond that is where we've got to keep an eye on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You see this big weather front pushing in. Now, behind it has got some milder air, but ahead of it, it is reasonably cold. And here we could be seeing some snow over the higher ground. And you can see on this initial run, not showing anything too major in terms of low-lying areas for snow. Once that weather front does move through, we are all into a much colder air mass. You can see widely snow across Friday evening across Scotland, snow showers into parts of Wales, Northern Ireland, and not exclusively to higher ground there. And right towards the evening, you can start to see heavier snow coming in from Scotland, parts of Wales, northwest England, the Midlands, and it probably will be more widespread than this, because remember, we are 5 days out, so this exact position of these weather fronts won't be known until near the time, and still some snow potentially across the Midlands, southern Wales, a lot over Scotland, could be some high accumulations, and even into the parts of the southwest, mainly over the higher ground, but you couldn't rule out some falling snow to low-lying areas as well. Again, it's all going to depend on exact timings, of course, overnight, more likely with the temperatures lower, and exactly the air mass. So we're still 5 days away, so we can see subtle shifts that mean that snow level drops from 100 or 200 metres above sea level down to 50 metres, for example, and a much more snow is seen quite widely. So we'll have to keep an eye really what happens with this, but again, it's just what could happen later this week. Now, if we have a look at the max temperatures, you can see this morning was really quite cold, especially in western areas, widespread frost, and today temperatures in the afternoon got up to around 7 or 8 degrees. Quite pleasant in the sun, but still there is that chilly feel to the air. Not quite as blustery as yesterday, as the winds are starting to die down a little bit, so it's not feeling quite as bad in terms of wind chill. Tonight, though, you can see the frost across southern Ireland and parts of southern England as well. Further north, we have more cloud, not too much in terms of frostiness. Tuesday, we'll see again temperatures around 6, 7, 8 degrees, so not massively mild, but still not massively cold either, just generally around or maybe just a touch below average. And then we start to see weather fronts pushing in through Wednesday, still quite cold in the south, but temperatures warming up slightly through Wednesday afternoon, maybe 8 or 9 degrees ahead of the weather front. Behind it, though, colder air digging in once again. By Thursday afternoon, only 5 or 6 degrees, and widely across Scotland below freezing. And remember, whenever we see precipitation, it will bring these temperatures down, see evaporative cooling, which could be a really big factor in if you see snow. Now, as we head through the evening to Friday, we do see temperatures drop quite low through early hours of Friday, widely across many parts of England and Scotland and Wales, freezing or below. A lot of blue on this chart. Again, city centres may stay around freezing or 1 degree, but many rural areas will be below freezing, really quite cold. And then through Friday afternoon, temperatures only really getting to maybe 4 or 5 degrees in a few spots. Maybe seeing a 7 degree or 8 degree, but many areas staying below that. And then through Friday evening, when we see those cold temperatures, we see a band of rain moving from the west. Temperatures widely around freezing, 1, 2, 3 degree. So it's going to be very marginal in terms of where we see snow or rain. But you can see there is milder conditions to our southwest, which is fueling these weather fronts, but widely freezing, and that's where we could be waking up to potentially some snow across Saturday into Sunday as well. So got to keep an eye on this really through this weekend, but looking very, very interesting for this weekend. And fingers crossed, if you're a wintry lover and you love snow, you do potentially see these conditions come off, and we do see some at least falling snow and potentially maybe some settling snow as well. Now, if we have a look at the GFS precipitation charts, again, these are low resolution, but still gives us a general idea of what the GFS is showing in terms of precipitation. You see, again, a few showers around, and then we see weather fronts moving through by Wednesday. Again, snow exclusively over hills, but then becoming more widespread low-lying areas towards maybe Thursday afternoon. Again, hills will always have the advantage on that, though. Then we see that initial weather front for Friday, which is again mainly over hills initially, before behind it we start to see snow falling to low-lying areas for Friday evening. And then as we head through early hours of Saturday, a lot of snow across Scotland, northern England, northwest areas, parts of Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland. Southeast may be missing out, really, is not seeing the precipitation, but could be seeing still some heavy snow across many northern areas, potentially through Saturday into Sunday as well, before things do start to clear and become more westerly. So very, very interesting seeing what's going to be happening through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It will chop and change. Some models will be going for all rain, some maybe go for all snow, and I do think it will be very, very marginal, and we'll just have to keep an eye really on what happens. Now, if we have a look at the Icon Run, which is a shorter range, high resolution model, so it should forecast this reasonably well. You can see again, showers just generally across the north, and then we see that initial weather front move through, snow over the Scottish mountains, but nothing too massive in terms of snow amounts. And then we see more snow moving from the north through Thursday evening, and then initially we see that weather front move through, snow over higher ground, but as it clears, more widespread snow across northern England, Scotland, Wales, and even into parts of the southeast, East Anglia as well, with that weather front shifted a bit further eastwards. Could be seeing snow early hours of Saturday through the southeast. And right towards the end of the run, you can see snow down the east coast of England, across northeastern areas, and you see these lines of showers, these snow streamers moving into Scotland as well. So very, very interesting seeing that you can see all these models are showing slightly different scenarios, which changes the position of the precipitation, how it mixes with the colder air, and whether we see snow or rain. Now, if we finally, for the precipitation charts, have a look at the GM. Again, you can see very minimal shower activity over the next couple of days. We'll see weather fronts move through by Wednesday, snow over highest grounds of Scotland quite widely, and then we start to see through early hours of Friday, snow across many parts of northern England, especially over the hills as well, even down maybe into the northeast, East Anglia, and then through early hours of Saturday, more bands of precipitation move through, and again, could be snow even to low-lying areas. And then again, through early hours of Saturday, more snow potentially. And then once again through Sunday, as those weather fronts pull away and the showers pull away, could be seeing some more snow at times. And then very interesting on the GEM, we do bring quite an active weather front move through by Sunday evening into Monday, and we could be seeing some very heavy frontal snowfall on the eastern side of this weather front. Now, as it does move through, it will turn back to rain most likely, but sowing snow even down into the southeast, London, East Anglia, most likely falling snow, not settling too much, but very, very interesting seeing this. So all the models are showing snow at times, even to low-lying areas. Again, it will all depend on the specifics near the time, and again, just need to keep an eye on what happens within the models, what happens with dew points and exact air masses as well, how they do sort of mix with the weather fronts. Now, if we now have a look at the GFS, we'll have a look at the long-range models, of course, now. Can see the high pressure toppling, bringing a brief area of milder air before we see that northerly wind come back in. Then we see a brief wedge of milder air before the cold air sinks from the north again ahead of this weather front, which is going to give the snow risk through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and it sits just to our southeast, feeding in northeasterly winds. Then we see the high pressure topple and we go into sort of a northwesterly regime, which will mean milder sectors will move through, but we also have colder sectors as well. So it'll wipe out the potential for widespread snow, but still over hills, and in the north the potential is there even into early next week. And again, we stay with the jet stream aligned northwest to southeast, which means we're on the generally colder side. But again, we are early in the winter, so we haven't got that much cold air to our north. And as you can see, the -5 line across northern Scotland, but only briefly getting through across England as well. And right to the end of the run, we see still an amplified jet, but the high pressure is moved out further out into the Atlantic. So we're actually beginning to see milder southerly winds move in. But again, right towards the end of the run, so really quite uncertain in this time frame. Now if we have a look at the GM, see how it does compare. Again, you can see high pressure toppling, and we've seen that northerly wind. Then we see another low pressure plunge down with very cold air within it, and that's where we could see more widespread snow through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And then we see that next potential low move through, which potentially gives that major snow through Sunday into Monday. But then milder air does move in. Again, northwest-southeast alignment of the jet stream, so we are generally on the colder side, especially in the north. For the south, though, we're seeing these milder wedges of air move in, and we've still got cold air to our north across Iceland and Greenland, which is going to be feeding into these lows, spinning them up a little bit. So we could be seeing some quite windy conditions as well, even the low pressures this weekend and into next week. So it does look like it's becoming much more active in terms of the jet stream, in terms of bringing in more low pressures in off sort of the mid-Atlantic. But it's not turning amazingly mild anytime soon. Still quite a bit of amplification in the jet stream, with the air generally still coming from the northwest, but not quite as cold as we're going to be seeing over the next sort of 5-6 days. Now, if we finally have a look at the ECMWF, the long-range model, you can see again northerly winds moving in for both Thursday, and then we see the next low plunge through by Friday, Saturday and Sunday, again with northwesterly winds, and that low sort of sits around, and then eventually we see the high pressure topple. We're still in quite a cold air mass, even by next Tuesday, so still could be some quite severe frost around, and quite cold temperatures as well, even if there is no snow risk as low pressure is moving away. Beyond that, though, again we have this amplified jet stream, so we're bringing a very mild sector of air, but then we see plunge back into a northerly wind once again for next Thursday. So very interesting seeing that. So you see all the models are not going back to a really mild solution. They're still showing the potential for colder sort of shots of air from the north, but they are not showing anything too sustained for the start of December. So if we do have a look at the GFS Ensembles, you can see that well reflected. You see temperatures are on the up over the next day or so, as we see that milder wedge of air within the high pressure sink southwards. Not massively mild, around average really, and we'll see a bit of an inversion with that, so temperatures are still quite cold towards the surface, especially overnight in the south. We have clearer skies as well. Daytime temperatures still around 7-8 degrees, which isn't really mild, not cold either, just generally around average, before we see temperatures really drop off throughout Thursday, with temperatures below -5 at 850 HPA, which is normally the threshold for snow. And then as we rise beyond that, around the 26th, 27th, 28th of November, staying around -5 at 850 HPA, and that's where we could be seeing these marginal snow events potentially at times. Beyond that, temperatures do rise for around the 30th, 1st of December, but we're still below average all the way to maybe the 4th or 5th of December, as we still have a lot of sort of deviations within the models. Some within the ensembles, some still remaining quite cold, others going quite mild. But as we saw by the operational runs just a minute ago, you can see it is a lot of flip-flopping. So I do kind of think it will turn into sort of a zonal sine wave, but sort of a colder, shifted zonal sine wave, where we see milder sectors at times, but we also see the temperature get down to potentially -5 at 850 HPA for maybe 12 hours or so, which will not mean anything too major for many areas in sort of England and Wales, but for Scotland could be quite a snowy scenario. Precipitation does look on the up in the longer term, so definitely does look like it'll be turning more unsettled than it's been with the higher pressure we've had around recently. But we've had quite a dry autumn so far, so we were always going to sort of break this spell and see some more unsettled conditions come through. We have a look at dew points, which is a good indication of air mass. As you can see, quite cold throughout the 25th, all the way to around the 30th of November, with dew points generally around or below freezing. A brief little blip upwards to just above freezing for Friday evening, and that again is where we could be seeing marginal surf events. If that's below freezing, the precipitation more likely to be snow. Above, more likely to be rain. If we have a look at new snow depth spikes, you can see there is quite a few now appearing for around sort of 27th, 28th, so sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday time, which is what we've been seeing with the models. And again, we'll have to keep an eye on it. Really, that's the only time now we're seeing where the precipitation collides with sufficient temperatures for snow in London, but further north, it's definitely looking like we're going to be seeing more snow potential than that. So if we do have a look at Glasgow, you can see quite a few snow spikes. Some sort of Wednesday morning. Again, does look mostly over hills, the initial weather front that comes through Wednesday morning, but could see into low-lying areas, maybe some falling snow. And then the snow risk picks up through Friday all the way through to sort of Saturday, Sunday, Monday time. More snow spikes here. Again, could be seeing some quite significant snow, potentially. All depends on how it aligns with the colder air. Dew points, you can see, are below freezing mostly, but we do see again that blip through early hours of Friday into Friday afternoon, where the dew points are up, just that wedge of milder air. Again, that will turn everything to rain if we do have precipitation around with that. And if we finally have a look at the 850 HPA temperature and precipitation, you see quite mild at the moment in terms of average, but still quite chilly towards the surface. But as we said, over the night tonight, it won't be a frost in Scotland because of the thicker cloud. Then we see the big drop from around 5 degrees at 850 HPA all the way down to -10 or close to -10 by sort of 25th, 26th of November, and it stays well below average all the way to around the 30th of November, where it returns to average, sort of fluctuating up and down again. Very similar to what we're seeing in London with sort of a zonal, sort of cold zonal sine wave with milder and colder sectors coming through. Very unsettled though, is looking quite likely in the longer term throughout the first week of December. But again, as I said, there's a lot of scatter around and we can't say anything for certain at this stage. So it does look like there will be some potential around for some wintry weather towards the end of this working week into the weekend. Don't keep your hopes up because it's not guaranteed we will see snow. It could be a bust, or we could see more snow than forecasted. Again, will all depend on even little microclimate details. Elevation, 50 metre of elevation can make a difference. So fingers crossed if you are looking forward to seeing some snow, that we do see some snow. But probably the most encouraging thing we're seeing out of this sort of colder snap we are getting is that we're seeing these sort of synoptics appear early in the winter, or end of autumn, let's just say, because it gives us encouraging signs that we could see this later in the winter, into December, January, February, where the air is just a couple degrees colder, and instead of it being marginal, it being more snow, and that air to our north, just a couple degrees colder, meaning we see snow to low-lying areas as well. So, yeah, very interesting seeing what's happening over the next week with this sort of northerly pattern. And hopefully, if you want to see some snow, we do see some snow at times. But make sure to keep up to date with my videos, and of course the Met Office forecast as well. I do suspect they will be issuing some warnings, but mainly over Scotland. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see one over Northern England maybe as well towards this weekend. But I'm sure those will be issued nearer the time, as we are still got a bit of uncertainty towards the weekend. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.